Oh, I can't wait. The NBA is so close to coming back. There's a lot to talk about. Finally, I think that's awesome. Here we are in July. All 22 NBA teams that are going to be participating in the remainder of the season have arrived at the bubble in Orlando, Florida. Some teams' rotations are set, but others will look for players to carry an additional load due to teammates not going into the bubble. In today's video, I'm giving you 10 underrated players that will be surprising everyone once the NBA season starts up again. How's it going, everybody? This is Troy, host of the Half Court Report YouTube channel. 10 players that I'm watching pretty closely as the bubble starts. That's what we're talking about in today's video. So make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel. We've got new videos Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. First player we're talking about is Kyle Kuzma of the Los Angeles Lakers. Kuzma has seen his scoring average drop over these past couple seasons. He's only at about 12.5 per game this year and about 25 minutes per game. But the team wins have also gone way up. His scoring was a difference maker in the regular season because when he scored at least 18 points per game, the Lakers were 10-1. That's pretty good. Without Avery Bradley for the entire rest of the season and without Rajon Rondo for several weeks, the Lakers are going to need somebody to step up, and Kuzma is going to be relied on a whole lot. Next up, we've got Shake Milton of the Philadelphia 76ers. We could be seeing a major shakeup in Philly, and Milton could be seeing a major change in his role. So let's break this down. The Sixers have been playing Ben Simmons at power forward as they practice for the remaining games. Brett Brown hasn't made it clear whether he's going to go back to his original starting lineup featuring Al Horford next to Joel Embiid or if he will instead choose to go small. And if he does the latter, Milton could be a candidate to take Philly's fifth starting spot. You would start him at point guard, you would have Jason Richardson at the 2, you would have Tobias Harris at the 3, Ben Simmons at the 4, and Joel Embiid at the 5. Before the season shut down, Milton had a career-high 39 points against the Clippers at Staples Center, and he really showed enough ability to make an impact on the offensive and the defensive end of the floor, and I think that's something the Sixers are going to be watching as the season continues. Another guy I'm tracking is Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. The Rockets really need Gordon to give them something because statistically, he's been having a pretty subpar season. That has been primarily due to injuries that he's been suffering this year and some surgery that kind of set him back this season. You know, when Houston signed him to that extension, the goal was for him to be a reliable scoring threat behind James Harden and Russell Westbrook. But Gordon has only shot 37% from the floor in 34 games this year. That is by far the worst of his career. He's barely over 30% from the three-point line. Now with news that Westbrook is going to be late coming into the bubble, Harden has been late arriving, we don't know exactly what this team is going to look like in the short term. And for the Rockets to make a deep run, Eric Gordon must return to his form of last season's playoffs when he averaged almost 18 points per game. Something to watch. I've also got my eye on Grant Williams of the Boston Celtics. He's a rookie. He's an undersized power forward, but the coaches love him. Brad Stevens always puts his players in a good position to succeed, and I think that's what we're seeing with Grant Williams as well. He started his career a little bit slow, especially from deep, but lately he's been shooting about 35% from 3, and I think he can be an important stretch big and an important reserve for the Celtics as they try to make a deep run into the playoffs. Next up, we've got Lonzo Ball of the New Orleans Pelicans, and we all know about Lonzo. We all know about the Ball family. Lonzo has not been in the news as much in New Orleans. If you haven't been keeping track of him, he was playing some of the best basketball of his career before the NBA stopped back in March. Once Zion returned, Lonzo was averaging over 13 points, about 8.5 assists, and 7 rebounds, along with 2 steals per game, while shooting over 45% from the field, over 40% from 3, The last 5 games before the NBA shut down, he had averages of 21 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, over 2 steals. These are monster numbers. So I really see him continuing this streak of really productive games. Got to mention the Toronto Raptors and OG Anunoby. I call him Olive Garden Anunoby, but I love this guy's game. OG's role has really expanded for the Raptors. With Toronto having any chance to make another NBA Finals, they're going to have to go through the Celtics. They're going to have to go through the Bucks. And Anunoby is going to be huge in trying to do that. How well he handles being a top defender and a perimeter threat could be the difference between Toronto advancing and heading home. I also want to talk about Jeremy Grant of the Denver Nuggets. Grant was a quiet breakout role player for the Thunder last season. He was playing primarily as a stretch 4. With the Nuggets, though, he has seen his role reduced behind Paul Millsap. And during the playoffs, where matchups and adjustments are key, Grant's value could rise. He can guard 4 positions. He adds the ability to switch everything defensively. He's also got a pretty reliable 3-point shot at 40%. Eager to see what he can do for the rest of the season. Let's go to Brooklyn and talk about their point guard, Chris Chiozza. So he is on a 2-way contract. We're not expecting a lot from Chiozza, but he's showing that he can definitely play in this league. The Nets don't have Kyrie. They don't have Spencer Dinwiddie. They don't have Durant. They don't have Taurean Prince. They don't have anybody, it seems like. The Nets are in big trouble. The only point guard on their roster is Chris Chiozza. And when we most recently saw the Nets, Chiozza was playing a key role in their upset win over the Lakers in early March. He scored 11 points. He dished out 5 assists in 17 minutes. That was one of the 3 double-figure scoring games for Chiozza in the past 4 games. Him being the only true point guard on the roster, they're going to have to rely on him a lot. But Chiozza has a chance to really show something for the Nets as they wind up their season and head to the playoffs. Let's also talk about Reggie Jackson, point guard for the Clippers. Mr. October himself, but he's going to be playing, I guess, Mr. July, Mr. August. Because do you guys remember when he signed with the Clippers shortly before the shutdown after his buyout with the Pistons? In 9 games before the shutdown, Jackson was beginning to gain the trust of Coach Doc Rivers. He was averaging over 9 points per game, shooting about 45% from 3-point range. Some folks in the Clippers organization have been impressed with Reggie Jackson and say that he has used this hiatus to get stronger after missing time earlier in the year with a back injury. The Clippers are hoping he can contribute and turn around what so far has been pretty much a lost season. Finally, I'm excited to see what we can get from Shabazz Napier of the Washington Wizards. Napier was traded 4 times between July and the trade deadline. That's a ton. He finally landed in what I think is a pretty ideal spot for him to showcase his skills. He's with the Wizards now. He can produce when given the minutes. He started the last 8 games for Washington before play stopped, averaging about 13 points. He put up a combined 48 points in his last 2 games. Basically, Napier is a guy who can really score the ball. And with Brad Beal sitting out, with Davis Bertans sitting out, John Wall is sitting out, the Wizards are going to need somebody to step up who is a capable scoring option, somebody who can create their own offense. Napier looks like one of the best bets and most proven players on a weakened Wizards team. Guys, let me know what players you're excited to see step up once the NBA is back. These are just a few players that I'm watching. Let me know who you are excited to see step up for the rest of the NBA season. Is there anybody I missed? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like this video. Would love if you subscribe to this channel as well. Got new vids coming out several times a week. Would really appreciate your support on this channel. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.